Ross, is the roundtable fixed? Because we already know Treasury's got the talking points. We already know that they've got $10 million they didn't want anyone to know about universal childcare. But we're being told, no, everything's still on the table, but nothing's really on the table. This thing is cooked before it begins. But what do you think?
100% fixed from the get-go. This is all circus and, let them eat cake, let them have gladiators and things so it looks like we're doing something. But you never enter a story as a movie producer without knowing the ending. The ending is written. It will be trotted out. We've trotted out the things that are totally unacceptable to the Australian public to say, look at what we're giving you instead. Isn't this so much better? I'm sure there'll be a sting in the tail that we don't know yet, but let me tell you, 90% of this is done and dusted.
Yeah, Joe, I'll let you have 2 more seconds.
Yeah, well, look, in all seriousness, I think one of the things
it's too good to tell the truth.
The government is simply not going to do anything unless it thinks it's going to be popular and it's going to be a winner with the punters. Right. And the beauty of the roundtable is that you get to run all these ideas up the flagpole, see which ones the punters like, see which one business or experts say, actually, that is a really, really good idea. And then you can adopt it as though it was your own. And so you get all the credit for doing what people want and doing what's popular, but none of the risk of suggesting what's not popular and having a sort of adopted policy.
But also, look, unions, I know you're only 50% of the Labor Party and you pick all the candidates and you help set the policy. Yeah. But that idea is terrible. I love the...
I don't think the ACTU is helping. They're a bit Ralph Wiggum.
What a surprise.
I'm helping the roundtable. We want to work less.
I'm telling you, don't watch your footy Thursday nights. It's fun. Be with us each and every week. All right, now, Ross, I want to talk about the politics of strikes because it's pretty obvious that, again, the union movement has its obvious connection around the Labor Party. Perfect example, I remember the South Australian election a few years ago where the ambulances were out on sort of this was all going to be a major problem because of hospital ramping, and if we change the government from the marshmallow to Labor, everything would be fixed. Surprise, surprise, a few years on, the problem is even worse. We know that in places like New South Wales there is a rare exception to the rule where that more sort of right-leaning Labor government constantly is on the end of protests. But now, get ready for another teacher strike in Queensland. Now, I think these things work pretty easily where people are on the side of the government when it comes to the disruption until there's too much disruption and then they want the government to fix it.
Exactly right. Well, first rule of investing is never go against where your investment is. And as a major shareholder of the Labor Party, the unions are investing in making the other side look bad. This is what they do here. They'll cause enough disruption. There'll be kids left at home. It'll be all okay for a few days. And exactly as you say, then suddenly, I don't want to look after the kid again. This is where they'll win because more and more we're seeing children being left to school. Parents aren't taking their responsibility to look after the kids. And so send them to school, do these things, and as soon as parents have to take responsibility again, this will turn. It won't be a good thing.
Yeah, completely. Again, Joe, it seems... I understand the politics, I understand what everyone wants, right?
Yep.
But obviously there is a limit to what governments can do because unless they're going to lift the taxes, they're going to put it on the credit card, which is something I've discussed many times before, that's structurally wrong at the federal level.
Yeah, and you've seen the Minns government deal with this, and they've struck a pretty good balance, but they've had to, they've gone sort of toe-to-toe with the unions in a whole bunch of public sectors, and they've had to basically hand over pretty massive pay rises despite resisting as much as they possibly could. And now, of course, they have to make cuts or can't deliver other things they want to be able to do elsewhere. So they are doing good stuff. I mean, to be fair, the Teachers Federation, I don't think is formally affiliated with the Labor Party, at least in New South Wales, but plenty of others are. And yes, you do have these bust-ups, and sometimes they do get genuinely personal.
So all of them vote Liberal all
the time? No, they do not vote.
I'm sure they're one nation.
If anything, they're probably voting slightly to the left of the Labor Party. But,
well, only a third. But the preferences.
But I suppose the teachers, any union doesn't really care about the government's standing as much as it cares about what it can deliver for its members. And that's why unions don't care if they're hated by the whole public, as long as the people they get the pay rises for like them and indeed re-elect them.